International Fire Code took over fire escape examinations. So all fire escapes as of 2012 were going to be inspected every 5 years in the entire country. But if you hadn't adopted the International Fire Code by then, and you were in 2009, for example, as of 2012, so if you just adopted the 2015 in the state, is that a correct statement? Correct, we're all on 2015 now?
For the most part, all North Texas, the major North Texas cities have adopted. I work for the city of Dallas. I'm a fire protection engineer there.
I said over here.
And I see this every day. I have in my office International Building Code, International Fire Code. So we get a lot of, I get a lot of calls from a lot of contractors discussing if it's included, if it's not included. So my answer is always, it always varies with your cities. Whatever your city has officially adopted, that's what's going to take place. Here, if you take a look at this one here, it's the staple copy. Significant changes to the 2012 International Fire Code. This is where it actually took place, and it was probably mentioned in your cities at this time. So there was obviously other items here in the fire code that got significant changes to it. And if you take a look at the last piece there, it has section 1104.16.5.1, which reads examination. Mentions that this new paragraph establishes a 5-year minimum inspection frequency. It's either by a registered design professional, architects, engineers, or for fire escape stairs and balconies on existing buildings, or others acceptable by the city official. In this case, we could have fire escape inspectors. Like I'm a fire inspector by the Texas TCFP, but I'm also a trained fire escape inspector by the National Fire Escape Association. And this was previously for me moving to Texas. So I just started building a little passion for this. I thought it's really important. I've done tons of inspections all over the West Coast, from LA to from south at San Diego, closer to Mexico, all the way north to San Francisco and Oakland and Berkeley. I've done some inspections here before I was with the city. I did some the Hotel Lawrence in Dallas. I also did some in Fort Worth area, Waxahachie as well. So
For ExxonMobil, right?
for ExxonMobil, it's the XTO building, energy building. They have both of them buildings. They're high-rise buildings, and they're currently working still with us because they're doing repairs on them, taking away the rust and all this other stuff. But this is all you need to know in terms of the code. And if you open the fire code, go to section 11.0.4, and then you have that. I print out a copy here, and it's, like I said, section 1104.16, which read fire escape stairways. And then if you go down all that, it gives you what do you need to know in 16 means of egress, dimensions, access to it, what kind of material and strength is allowed, and finally the examination portion. Just one page long, but it gives you a lot of insights on what must be done in terms of a fire escape in your city. And obviously, Mr. Menezes already touched upon who is qualified enough to do these kinds of inspections. So if you get an inspection report by somebody that you have doubts, make sure you start asking, let me see your credentials, let me see your licenses, and so on and so forth, just to make sure that they are doing a good job in terms of the what must be done according to the fire code here. NFPA also includes some of the items that are good for reference, but for the most part, all the information you could find it in the National Fire Escape Association, or also Fire Escape Engineers, which is also part of the National Fire Escape Association.
Hold on just 1 second. I just want to bring a point that Cincinnati, and again, you can copy people, or you can ask us which one has the best, or you can put them all different together. So there's Cincinnati, which is, they didn't have any help from us. They just put this together, and they started last October. They have a facade inspection every 5 years, and they have a fire escape inspection. It's the same sheet. And they want everything to come out safe with ordinary repairs, unsafe with imminent hazard. It's the same sheet. So these are some of the things we'll tell you. So they just use the facade inspection, just threw fire escapes on top. It can get better. You know what I'm saying? We have, but it's a good start because they have a 3 to 5 year plan for all these things. Okay, so what we want to talk about is that even though you have this code, there's a clear piece that you have to understand. Fire escapes is supposed to be load tested. And the load test is what everybody doesn't want to do because it's very expensive. And we're going to show you load testing on here because it is something you can do. It is done, but we're not selling load tests. We're trying to tell you that on average, every fire escape is supposed to be retrofitted every 25 to 35 years, meaning the fasteners. You do that the same way they did the roofs, the windows, the electric, the plumbing in that building. they get swapped out and renewed every 25 to 35 years. Is that an average? Well, the fire escape fasteners are supposed to do that. You change those fasteners, there is no load test. So we're not pushing load testing. We're saying that's the card you have because you need to see it in the code. And if I may, on here, the code part talks about the examination. Materials and strength. They shall be constructed to take 100 pounds per square foot, right? But then when you go down to the examination, it says, shall be examined for structural adequacy and safety in accordance with this section by a registered design professional or others acceptable, or as required by the fire code inspection. And inspection reports shall then be submitted for the examination. They want to, I think it's on the second page, they talk about the load test portion of it that says that as part of your, you have to make, it shall meet the load test requirement. So we're trying to tell you that the examination and the load test is in two specific categories, but when it says it shall meet the load test, it's really telling you you're supposed to be load testing these 50, 75, sometimes 100-year-old structures. We're trying to tell you that if you refurbish these fire escapes, there is no load test for the next 15 to 25 years because you're using other evidence of strength. And I'll use that as an example. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, you guys can always call, because he deals with this every day. What's your position there at Dallas? You're in...
The fire protection engineer assistant here with the city of Dallas. We do hazmat, fire sprinklers, fire alarms. Right now I'm doing hazmat and sprinklers as well. Here with the National Fire Escape Association, I'm the chief technological officer. So I get involved, spread message, give the information out. It's free. No, I'm not trying to charge anybody for my services, but I tend to, make other people aware. I'm already trying to push something there at the building department with the city of Dallas. Getting Mr. David Session, he's assistant building official out there, to start picking something up because we don't have anything as of this point. We are aware that we do have fire escapes in the city, so we're at a point where I'm letting them know we don't want to have a tragedy here because we're gonna start getting news coverage, and that's when that's when everything gets brought up to attention, and then we start, especially for him, he's assistant building official with Philip Sykes. He's the building official. You're gonna have a lot of answering to do.
So this is what I want to say. He's in Dallas, and it hasn't popped in Dallas. I'm in Boston, and it hasn't popped in Boston. But cities outside of Boston. I am in Dallas, but Houston has popped. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about where it's going to pop, because sometimes you could be in the city and nothing's going on because there's other ostriches with their heads in the sand. You know what I'm saying? And when those things happen, it's okay. I mean, sometimes you have to surround the castle. You know what I'm saying? And that's what sometimes has to happen. So be aware that it starts on a local level. The answer is you have to have a system. But let me make sure you understand how everybody's tied in together. The fire code said all fire escapes must be examined every 5 years from now on anyway. So whether you agree or not, every 5 years, every building in the U.S. is getting their fire escape examined. And the insurance companies haven't started enforcing this, and when they do, they don't care about your code anymore. The International Fire Code tells you that the fire escapes must be certified and must be load tested, right? Look at the NFPA. They say it the best. The authority having jurisdiction. This is Life Safety Code 101. The authority having jurisdiction, which is either you or the building, shall be permitted to approve any existing fire escapes there that has been shown by load test or other evidence of strength to have adequate strength. So what's that mean? They want you to load test it, or they have show me other evidence of strength. You know what other evidence of strength is? A full refurb on a fire escape. So if you got a 50, 75, and 100-year-old fire escape, and you refurb all the connectors outside, and you verify all the connections into it, or duplicate them with a new epoxy bolt or a new sandwich through bolt plate, guess what? You just met other evidence of strength. So we're not load testing. We're asking for you to try to reach as much as you can the other evidence of strength because it lasts for more years. So it puts off the load testing for the next 15 to 25 years. But if somebody is really giving you a hard time and they kind of did a welding witch doctor job on a fire escape, how can you assure that you're going to be good for another 5 years, plus minus? What can you pull out of your pocket that says it in the NFPA, says shall be examined or tested, says it in your IFC, says it in the IBC? What can you pull out? The load test card. So whenever anybody's fighting with you about what they did to the fire escape, just pull out your load test card. Because you'll be supported by the International Fire Code, the International Building Code, testing and certification. All exterior fire escape systems shall be examined or tested. 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 Everybody keeps saying the word test. So So you're just surrounded, and even OSHA's gonna get into this, okay? I'm gonna show you another car that you can pull out to close down a building if you have to, and stress, okay? So let me see if the OSHA code,
Quick question on like an apartment complex with 2 or 3 floors and you have just the stairways going up to the top floors. It's not a technical fire escape, but it's their means of egress to get in and out of the building and stuff. Does that fall under this as well as having to be tested?
international, all exterior fire escapes systems.
All systems.
All exterior, it read better, used to say all exterior, still wooden stairs, balconies, bridges, fire escapes, areas of refuge. So the building department says if it's outside and not enclosed from the weather, guess what? It falls into this examination. Because people always do that whole fire escape thing. That's the tip of the iceberg. Below that, there's a lot more. Catwalks. You know, staircase on the outside of tanks.
Right.
Anything that somebody has to fight up to go fight a fire. Roof access ladders to the elevator shafts and all this other stuff. Those are all things connected with bolts. All exterior, steel or wooden stairs. And if you look at that, fire escape is mentioned last. It's not mentioned first. Got it? And it's wood structures too. So you get the back of a building, it's an all wood structure. Does that have to be examined? All exterior steel or wooden stairs. So it's all there in the code. I just wanted to show you how all the codes are tied into each other. Technical assistance. This is what supports me for being another. So I'm a licensed and certified fire escape inspector in 2 states, California and Massachusetts. But technically, in all my other states, I use the technical assistance. And what is that? If I'm a solar guy, forget fire escapes, I'm a solar guy and I'm going to inspect solar something. Well, there's not too many engineers that know anything about solar. How do you get an engineer to inspect something solar or windmills if they don't even, there's not many guys out there? This allows you to use this technical assistance to say that you are allowed to bring in a qualified engineer, a specialist, a laboratory or fire safety specialist organization to help the fire code official determine that something is good. So I'm an other. And by the way, at the same time, you can always have the other peer reviewed, so you have the right to have me have a structural engineer review my document. Anyway, it says that right at the end. So you can still have me be peer reviewed by somebody who knows less than me. It's all on technical, okay? This applies to any new technology that's currently out there, guys. Not just me, this is my explanation of another. All right, let's talk about fire escapes. Opinion affidavits versus certifications. Opinion affidavits is what everybody's been doing when the welding witch doctors have come through, nothing's dangling, structural engineers have been signing off on these things. Would you sign off on this thing the way it looks? Well, the structural engineer was ready to sign off on this when I got called and he said, yeah, fix these 4 things and I'll sign off on it and then paint it. So this is an opinion affidavit. Any pictures? So he says, fix these 4 things, I'll sign off on it. Let's say I sent you my report and I condemned it and all these reds are emergency repairs. That's the size of the structure. So it doesn't mean that he's worse than me or better than me. It just says because he has no checklist of any kind, guess what happens? You get one of these, you have to take it at its word. You get photographs in part of reports and he says it's fine and you get these kind of photographs, what would you say? Right? So you don't have to go there, you don't got time to go there, you need. So this is another technical report, paper only, no pictures. And I said, can you give me some pictures? He says, no, we just needed you to go over there and give us a price to paint. There was about 150 units, apartment units. When I went there, look at all the bolts were coming off in my hands. And they said, just paint it. We have an engineer that already cleared it. You guys recognize these things? When's the last time you guys had your towers inspected? I guarantee you, this is a tower I did in Massachusetts, and the day I showed up, I closed it down because I pinged treads that men, young men, brand new men and women were training on. And look on the inside, you guys throw hay and you guys kind of make all kinds of smoke. Look at the inside treads. Look at all the rust jacking happening in that bracket holding the platforms when these guys come out heaving and breathing and chucking, right? So when's the last time? The National Fire Escape Association inspects fire towers for free. So you got a fire tower, give us a call, we'll inspect it for free. And not because we want to shut it down, because you don't want to have a dead fireman who hasn't even started training yet on the ground. So fire towers. So you guys pointing the fingers, my mom always says, when you point your finger, you always got 3 fingers pointing back at you. So be careful where you point.
Yeah.
So get these fire towers taken care of right away. Put out a bulletin. Say have all fire towers examined immediately. We'll do it for free. This is just rust. Rust everywhere. This is a hospital for veterans of World War II. Trash trucks, moving trucks. Look what they do. They're 12 to 14 feet high. They just smash everything. We get this is our ping pong test. We just ping with a 2.5 pound hammer. Ping, ping, ping. Look at all these things. Firemen don't carry that on their belts when they're running up or down the fire escapes. That's why they've been told to get off. This is a city hall, right? Everybody see the missing treads on the city hall? Here's your biggest issue. What's behind the brick? You believe that the fire escape on the front of the brick is better than the back side of the brick? Because why? Once it gets behind the brick, they rot. Look how solid the steel is there. But look back there, because it stays moist. All the veneer, this is not structural. This is not veneer. This is not structural. The structural is behind the veneer. And you got that 1/2 inch. And what happens when the roof is leaking? Between that 1/2 inch. Guess what it eats? It eats this. It eats this. Got it? So whenever we get to a fire escape connection, that's what you're mainly concerned about, right? We've already changed 95% of all the bolts on the outside, sistered and or replaced any deteriorated material. There's still an unknown inside this 12 to 18 inch thick wall. What do? You kick the dog that's sleeping, or you leave it alone? You leave it alone, you get a new puppy. And what's the new puppy? A new puppy is a new epoxy bolt through the building to duplicate this connection. So this is a $500 repair or a $50 bolt installed. What do you think is cheaper for the client? Okay, so you let sleeping dogs lie, you put a new epoxy bolt into the building, and if the building is no good when you try the epoxy bolt, then you have to go all the way through with a 3/4 shaft of threaded rod, and now you got a new plate on the inside. Now are you comfortable with other evidence of strength instead of a load test in your city? Because again, we're not shooting for load tests. That could cost $5,000, $8,000, $12,000 every 5 years. They should use that money for bolts and paint, right? So it's what you don't see, but we've already have an answer for that. Do you wake it up or you leave it alone? What do you guys want to do? $500 or $50?
Wake it up.
Just leave it alone, because you're going to find other problems with this building. So when the fire escape is tied in, leave it alone. It's called duplication. Just put in a new epoxy bolt or put in a new through bolt. Forget about that. Don't prove this out. This is a 100-year-old structure. We don't got time to take bricks apart. And masons don't have time to put the bricks back in. You're going to drill a 3/4 hole. So let sleeping dogs lie. It's what's behind and in the wall that's a concern, because it stays wet. Where did they get the wetness from? Sometimes it's inside the building giving it wetness. Sometimes it's from the roof coming down that 1/2 inch spacing, because you have a leak in the roof that nobody hears about or sees. And sometimes it's from the outside. As it spalls, it feeds water in. It's what you can't see that's the problem. This is what through bolts look like going inside of a building. See that shaft? This is what I have to do if I want to verify. This is California. If I have to verify that angle, I have to destroy some things. I have to destroy its cement that's around it, so I can see what it looks like, and then clog it back up with some cement. Or can I just do about 4 to 6 inches over there? Can I drill a new same size hole? Because this one I have to drill 4 or 5 consecutive holes by themselves, by next to each other, so I can look down the hole and see what. By the way, this is fire escape proctology. What do you see? Poop. There's nothing. You can't see nothing. So if I take that same drill and I drill a hole 4 to 6 inches over there, and I put epoxy bolt or a new through bolt, do you care that I left the original still intact? Because now I'm at 200%, or I'm at 150%, or I'm 130%. What you care is about what's the primary now. The primary now is the new connection. I got a brand new connection. Will you now accept other evidence of strength instead of a load test in your building? The answer should be yes. Okay? So this is what it looks like inside when you throw, the little camera inside there. This way, I can't see nothing. Okay? Lead. You guys know that no welding is allowed on any fire escape. So that's very important to note, that the leads, because just to paint the fire escape now you need to have a renovator's license. So you can't weld on it. So the welding witch doctors have been eliminated. Why is that? Because as you start looking around for information, this is where I had to go get my information to say you can't weld on a fire escape. I had to go back down to the 1920s, 1930s, out of New York. This is how to build a fire escape. And all over this document it states that you can weld in a shop, but then you need to bolt it at the site. So welding was never an acceptable means of fabricating fire escapes because there's too much movement in them. So do you have that in your law somewhere here? Probably not, because it's all over the place. So I had to go get this. And did I get this because I just had time to search, or was there another fatality issue that occurred? So I'm an expert witness in a lot of cases all over the country. The last case that won in New York City just a month or so ago, a girl visiting her friend in a 4-story flat went to the roof deck using the fire escape because that's how everybody did it over there. She didn't go through the hallway up a ladder. She went through the fire escape on the way back out after a couple of beers. She fell, smashed into the first fire escape that her friend's place. And she fell one more story down. She's a paraplegic now. And guess what they gave her? They awarded her for that case because she's a paraplegic. $39 million. She would give it all back if she could just walk again, right? But what about the fact that the insurance company says we're not going to pay it because the fire escape wasn't certified? What does that mean to the owner?
He gets it.
So here's a great one. You want to write this down. This is the backup in case things are going crazy. 1910.37 OSHA. OSHA states that during repairs and alterations, employees must not occupy a workplace unless the extra routes required by the subpart are available and the existing fire protections are maintained or until alternate protection is furnished of equivalent level of safety. What's this mean? That means that OSHA has been telling you for many, many years that when somebody's coming down to do a demo on a building and they're still gonna let people stay on the second floor, the third floor, whatever, what's the first thing that you must have? 2 means of egress. If your fire escape ain't certified, can you actually work on that building without having the second means of egress certified? So you got all these buildings in downtown, all these buildings that are being worked on, and they're all in violation of the OSHA code. So how do you do this without stopping the money train from keep on rolling? So OSHA states that you must have 2 means of egress certified. So when I'm pulling my permit, what must I show you so I can proceed with my demolition? My repairs or alterations on any building, residential or commercial. This is a step into the residential, 2 and 3 story residentials, right? Because that's where the second means of egress is going to kick in. So what's this mean? Well, I'm filling out my application to you, and what must I present as part of my permit process? Certification of the fire escape. Not having one, are you going to stop the money train there? The answer is no, because it has another piece here. It says, unless you provide alternative fire escape. So I get a fire escape. I'm working on my house. It's a 3-family, and it's got a fire escape on the back. And all of a sudden, the fire escape is going to need 50 grand worth of work. Are you going to stop me? Because the mayor's going to come in. The mayor, I golf with the mayor every weekend. So what do? You use the second part, and that is you order scaffolding. Because the scaffolding allows you to mothball the fire escape and do what? Continue with the project. But now you need to resolve this issue. Because now he's got to block all means of egress to the fire escape. He's got to block the fire escape from the outside so firemen don't get on it. And then he's going to use the scaffolding temporarily, but how's he going to close out his project? He's going to do the fire escape last. One way or another, he's in the system. So remember, you're going to pull the OSHA card on every high-rise, mid-rise, and low-rise that you ever deal with. If they're doing any alterations, you say, hey, where's your certificate for your fire escape? So this is part of a checklist. Got it? So 1910.37, and again, don't stop the project. Use it wisely because it's telling you not to stop it. It's giving you the authority to order scaffolding, which is a certified fire escape system in the meantime. So this is your way in on a lot of these projects. And this is what it would look like. So if the fire escape is need repair, what do you set up? The fire escape is on the back somewhere, so what do? Just set it up. And it's full, 3 foot wide, 7-Eleven rise and run with rails, all the way to the ground, with doors and locks and all those things. Because this is a professional company that puts this up, not the contractor. So pick one, fix your fire escape, or within 3 days, I'd like to see this up, but you need to continue. In the meantime, while you're waiting for your scaffolding to arise, fire prevention is going to come down here. They're probably going to order a fire watch until the scaffolding is up. Everybody clear on that? That's a nice card to pull out so you don't piss off a lot of people, because you will. Load testing. This is what load testing looks like, guys. That's when you get good, strong boys and men, and you get a couple of 1,000 pounds of sandbags, 50 pounds apiece, and you measure before and you measure afterwards. And if you're going to put 1,000 pounds down, you got to put 400 pounds down, measure before and after time, and then you load the other 600 and you measure before, during, and after time. And then you have to load it all from the top so you can just keep cascading the bags down to the ground. Oh, it's a lovely way to make money on a hot day. And the bags fall because when you're going down the stairs, you know, sandbags don't stack very nicely unless you're crossing them, and so you got tumbling, cascading sandbags falling everywhere. They hit a sharp edge, you got sand falling everywhere.
Oh, so now we're loading onto a stair, and we're doing a concentrated load.
Oh, by the way,
every other tread.
Is this dangerous? Should this thing want to let go?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey Tom, he's about
So,
to
do
start.
you think we want a load test?
That the staircase is starting. What time?
So that's why it has to pass a pre-load test evaluation. What you have in front of you is a pre-load test evaluation. We don't load test anything that we don't guarantee that it's going to pass, to the best of our knowledge and information. You know what I'm saying? The load testing is very dangerous. At any time, something stupid could happen, and all these guys with a bag, the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, we're carrying 50-pound straws, plus our own weight. So load testing can also be done by cables. So this 3,000 pounds exerted, using a live load cell, dude, it's crazy. That one we did in California, not only did we fully refurb the entire fire escape, he still wanted it to be load tested. I said, dude, you don't have to, you did this. No, I got a lot of money, I want to give you a lot of money, I want you to fix it all, but I want you to also load test it. So we started measuring, tabling, lifting, right? Lifting weight, we used the back end of a truck to basically exert. 10 stories up, we ran cables through, so you were exerting. So you can put your weight at the top, or you can put the weight at the bottom. So 2,000 pounds on the ground, when you transfer it through a cable to the very top, you can exert 2,000 by lifting the piece off the ground, or keep 3,000 on the ground and only exerting 2. So there's many ways to skin a cat, but this is some of the ideas you want to have, okay? This is how you deal with fire department, building department, and so on. It's just some ideas. Ready? Fire prevention. When you do your smoke detector sign off, okay? So write this down on the back of some page, and then we're going to end up on the confidence test last. Ready? If I'm doing a fire detector, a smoke detector sign off, isn't that just inches away from them taking possession of the building? And you ask for a copy of the fire escape affidavit. You're not going to stop them from getting into the building, because if they don't have a copy of the affidavit, what do? You stop them from occupying the building? Because this is kind of a surprise to them. It just does nothing but trigger a request for in the next 30 days, provide us one. Otherwise, I will come back and shut your building down. So don't stop the money train. But at the smoke detector sign off, when you get a sprinkler, the sprinkler companies, involve these sprinkler companies to come in. When they're doing a yearly test on sprinklers and there's a fire escape on the building, where do you run when the sprinklers go off? To the fire escape. So ask the sprinkler companies to have a copy of the fire escape affidavit. So they're not doing the fire escape affidavit, they're asking for a copy from the owner. I need to submit this, and with all sprinkler tests, I have to add a copy of the fire escape affidavit. And if it's good for 5 years, they can just keep a copy of it until, and so they'll start reminding the owners that the sprinkler, so piggyback. How about yearly inspections? You're walking in, you're just asking for a copy, you're not ordering one. Hey, where's your copy of your elevator certificate, your sprinkler certificate? Just add it to a checklist. How about the second means of egress confirmation? Sometimes you're doing a safe structures initiative. I don't know if you guys have that, but You have some programs out there that are called safe structures. You look for a lot of different things on one building. During your pre-plans, add second means of egress confirmation if it's an external. Where's your certificate? No task force needed. These will come in dribbles. They'll just come in on, on all by themselves. As people are trying to complete other things, you attach, put a tail on the donkey, and then they'll drag that tail with them. Building departments, when they're pulling permits, what's the first thing he asks when he's getting all these permits? So that he's going to use OSHA as his main reason. He said, hey, I'm going to issue this demolition permit, I'm going to issue this alteration permit, what do we need? As part of you, I need to know your architect, I need plans, I need this, I need that. By the way, what else I need? I need a copy of the certification, or are you going to use scaffolding? Okay, what are you talking about? Because I know this building has a fire escape. You have a certificate, or are you going to use scaffolding? No, we're just going to use a fire escape. Hey, yeah, but it's not certified. So pick one, get that thing certified immediately, or give me my scaffolding. Either way, I'm going to find out what's going on. Okay, that'll get them moving quick. OSHA. Certificates of occupancies, you guys have those going on? Re-rents and stuff like that? So tag those into the re-rentals. New ownership, you guys do whole new certificates of occupancy and stuff like that? So bring that in. How about HUD and housing? When it's HUD money, you can't basically tie in with any HUD housing unless you have 2 means of egress certified. So a lot of times the HUD deals a lot with residential 2 and 3 families. So that's how you're going to get to the 2 and 3 family market, is by having your housing inspectors ask for a certificate. How about health department? Health department every now and then kicks somebody else because of a health issue, mold, cockroaches, whatever. When they're going back in, what do they ask for? Confirmation of a safe structure, which means second means of egress. Right? That's all they're saying. Hi, I'm going to put you back in this building. Yeah, the mold's been resolved, but before I can let you in, we make sure you have 2 means of egress. So, you want to call this a fire escape program, or you want to call it a safe structures initiative? You better rename this cat, because you call it fire escapes, it's the bastard child of egress. Nobody wants to hear that word. So rename it. This is a safe structures initiative. We want to find every fire escape in the city, and we want to put a tag on it. Well, what kind of tag? If they want a white tag, they have to have it inspected professionally. Otherwise, we're going to put a yellow tag on it. So every time we're out and around with our trucks and doing pre-plans, we're going to see if the fire escape has nothing dangling, it'll get a yellow that needs to convert to a white. If any of our inspectors happen to be around and they see a dangling tread, it gets a red. A red, immediately the fire and the building department are going to get involved in the situation to get rid of all the reds. That's called the Safe Structures Initiative. You're trying to identify the second means of egress throughout the whole city. And you have a 3 to 5 year program. And you're going to start off nice and slow because you're going to get a lot of kickback. But in order to start a grass fire, what do you need? Just a match. And then you just need to sit there and fan it for a while. Because if you're trying to, burn the trees down, you get that fire going enough, she'll burn down a forest with a grass fire. All right. So now let's talk about the time check.
Yeah, we're past
What time is it?
1:35.
Oh, so I'll give you the 5-minute spiel on the confidence test. Pull out your confidence test, and then we're done. I'll stick around if anybody wants to speak with me directly. Guys, when you read each one of these questions, you'll understand that there's never been a questionnaire on a fire escape ever in the U.S. Got it? So if there's never been a questionnaire, you can understand why fire escapes have gotten away with murder. Okay? So with that, let's talk about what kind of information you're going to get. Ready? Right at the top, you're going to get to know who the inspector is, and those licenses and his expiration dates. That's important to you. Any violation numbers? In the middle, the next box down tells you who owns the building, but also who manages the building. And in the middle, we have to draw a little rectangle, a little box, and put another box onto that, telling you is the fire escape on the back, the side, or the front. Put a little X in it. That's going to help you. Down below, we need the professional information of the professional person. Okay. The next one, if there was a repairs done to it, we want to know who the repair company is and the permit number. We want to know the next one in the gray box that says, is this a pass-fail or is this a technical report? Because pass-fails may be your first initiative. You may say, you know what? We just want to make sure that we're not looking for a certification. We want somebody to go out and at least say to us that the fire escape looks like it's ready for its intended use, but it does need maintenance. But this is not a certification at this time. We're just trying to identify all the reds first. So you send everybody out on a quick pre-load test evaluation that says, we found some problems, but we're not certifying at this time. We just want to make sure there's nothing dangling. So that's called a pre-load test evaluation. The structure can be looked at by walking on it, or the structure can be looked at from the ground. Usually when it's looked at from the ground, it's because you can't get on it. And not because there's a key issue, it's because it's dangerous. There's dangling stuff. That important for you? We want to now come down to the results. We want to say, did it pass or fail, and is there any life safety issues? Because you want on page 1 to be told immediately if we have a life safety concern. There's 3 ways to certify a fire escape: by load test, other evidence of strength, opinion affidavit with a strong disclaimer of liability saying we performed no load test. So this is that pass fail, do you understand? Where the owner takes all the responsibility in the meantime over this next 3 to 5 years. But in 5 years' time, you may say to them, I want a load test in 5 years. Get your pennies together. Because between now and then, you're taking full responsibility for your own building, not the city, not the inspector. And then the final one is just says that the fire escape failed because it either needed paint or structure, right? We're gonna put your code in the middle. Look at the very bottom. It needs to be signed by the inspector. And if you're gonna take this as a certificate, we can't accept your certificate unless you sign off on it and put it into your files because you signed on it and accepted it and went to the site yourself. You guys need to go back and look at every fire escape. Even if the engineer has signed off on it, you must go back and accept it that way. Because I'll tell you, there's still some stamp wars out there giving you, toilet paper for certifications. See, question number 2. When you look at each one of these questions, they answer every specific question about, is it built to standard? Is there any questions you guys have to ask me? All the components of a fire escape: treads, rails, supports, stringers, clips, tops and bottoms, supports, through bolts, foundations, sonotubes. It's all, every question is on there. All the way to the next question, which is the number 1, you end up on number 25. Talks about paint, it talks about obstruction, fire, flammables. It talks, every single one of these questions, an engineer has to give you this questionnaire back. And you think he did a good job when he signs his name to this and seals his stamp on this? Because he's taking all the liability, because he's answering yes, no's. Can he play with it to the best of my information, knowledge, and belief? Can he play with that if he's answering yes, no's? And as soon as an engineer tells you, I'm not signing this document, what's happening? What can you pull out of your back pocket that I told you guys have? Load test. They give you any stink about this, because that's their job. They're getting paid thousands of dollars to fill out this form correctly, to save the lives of the tenants and the firemen, and say, well, I'm not going to sign that because, but they say, hey, then let's just load test this baby. Let me know what day that is, because I want to see them. How many guys you bringing to drag around little sandbags, man? I'm going to get a lounge chair, a nice cool drink, and I'm just going to watch this monkey show all day long. And by the way, before you order the load test, I want to know how much it's going to cost. I can tell the owner the day before, why are you spending $12,000 in load testing when those same $12,000 will buy you a lot of paint and a lot of bolts? So what would you use $12,000 for? Sandbags or bolts and paint? Got it? So you're going to make that engineer look silly, because he should be fighting for other evidence of strength, not load test. You pulled that card because you called his bluff. Okay, question number 25 is the catch-all. If they happen to be doing something weird with that fire escape, that's the question. That's where you would put a weird situation. He's got a chicken coop underneath the fire escape. You know what I'm saying? The next page is all the frequently asked questions, and if there's any special terms and conditions that you give us, we're supposed to write it on this page and the next page. If you read that, that tells us what your city wants in specific ways. And so you'll take a pass-fail report to start the initiative, but only to find out if there's a technical report coming, because you may not need a permit as it states in a lot of the codes, but you definitely need oversight to watch that. So your permit may not be a document from the city. Your permit may be the engineer who's going to be watching that for 3 visits. Let's take a look at the very last page. This is a vendor sheet. Now, you think engineers don't want to fill out sheets? Guess who doesn't want to fill this sheet out? The welding witch doctors. Why? Because there's $3,000, $13,000, $33,000 fees coming for fixing a fire escape, right? So what's that mean? The welding witch doctors usually one-man operations, no workers' comp, no liability. They want to light up the welding machine. They want to be out of there in one day and make $1,000 to $2,000, and they'll be done. The $13,000 guys are going to be your ornamental iron workers. You know what I'm saying? They usually have 3 to 5 guys. Most of the time, they do have workers' comp and liability, and they do have the ability to pull a permit. But they need somebody watching them because a lot of them are ex-welding witch doctors who've come over to work for them because they can't make it, you know, with a welding machine on the back of their truck. The $33,000 guys are usually the commercial grade guys who do a lot of this work, where they usually do 5 and 10 stories. They have all the insurances, they have all the requirements. They offer the 15 to 25-year warranty, structural warranty, guaranteeing it's going to pass for the next 15 years, or they'll fix it for free. So those are the guys that this is all they do. But a lot of times when they play in the residential side of things, 33 versus 13, guess who's going to win the contract? It's going to be the 13. So what happens is you need an engineer watching the 13s to make sure they can get the job done. Because the engineer watches the 33s, the engineer watches the 13s. Takes a little longer on this side because these guys are going to try to do welding witch doctor stuff. But this engineer up here, he will not let a welding witch doctor show up because he'll know because he won't fill out this page. And when the owner says, I don't care, I'm going to use my cousin Louis, he's going to do this job, what's the engineer do? No, he calls you and says, I have to extract myself. Because when he sends you the technical report, which is this document similar, so you guys can get a mixed bag of all the great stuff in the country. Just ask us, we'll tell you where mistakes have been made and where there's still holes in the system. And it says right here that if an engineer stamps this, he's got to send all this technical report, he's going to watch that baby for you. So what's that mean? As soon as somebody brings in a welding witch doctor, and this is what I've been charged with as a design professional, as soon as I get nobody following the orders and I start to sign off on it, I'm in charge of watching it, which is quality control, construction control document, whether it's residential or commercial. As soon as I'm out of this, what do? I send you a letter saying, hey, and as soon as you get this, I'm no longer involved in this case because he's trying to bring in, his Uncle Luigi, the welding witch doctor. Then you're gonna go deal with the owner directly. I don't like that guy, he's too expensive, he's too nitpicking. Okay, then find me somebody else just like him. Because, yeah, but I want to use my Uncle Louis. Well, you have used your Uncle Louis for 75 years. But the rules have changed. That's the end of the show. If you have any questions, I try to leave a little time at the end for questions, but I'll be here as long as you guys want. If you have any questions on how to get to the next level, because that's the end. You guys can get up and run, throw things at me, or run me out of town. So if you have any questions, come on. If you have any cards you want to give us, and if you want to start a program in your city, like I said, it's free, and we got a local boy that'll come out and talk to you about it. Start in your downtown. That's where it starts. Start with the commercial. The residential will take care of itself. Whereas the commercials, they know how to make money and spend a little money to get their things up nicely safe.
Let me get your contact. I'll give you those.
Not sooner.
Or if you could put yours.
That was already in 12.
Yeah, 6 hour work, 6 hour piece, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw